Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce. This is what's considered a bagged pistol. Its purpose, as you can see the pistol in there in this gallon-sized bag, is to retain the brass after you've committed a crime, leaving behind less evidence. Now, this was really shown off in the movie Mr. Brooks back in early 2000s, portrayed by Kevin Costner. And the character was basically a bad dude that went out on occasion to do bad things. And his gun of choice was a Walther PPK-S. I'm not sure if it was chambered in 22, 32 ACP, or 380 ACP, but we're going to try out several options today. And this was the setup that he used, was a bagged pistol, and he'd go and do his bad things. Downrange, I have a set of targets which shows off how his victims were at the very beginning of the movie, showing each other their O faces. The reason why I'm testing this out is because I don't think it works. I don't think it works just because there is not enough movement back here for a pistol to operate. So let's just see if we can get a 22 here. There's a Phoenix 22 with a flash cannon in front, not even a real suppressor, which will take up even more room. So let's see if I can hit something here with the targets. Oh, it did work. Huh. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, just shit. Okay, the brass is hot. Kevin Costner, I bet he had gloves on. I bet he had gloves. Well, my name's Deuce, and I'm an idiot. Kevin Costner had gloves on for a very good reason. Oh, that hurts so bad. But it did retain the rounds. That was 5 rounds that was burning against my skin there. And it did retain them, so it actually worked. One of the problems with the setup is that his pistol is suppressed, but a suppressed pistol, even a 22 suppressed pistol, will not fit inside a gallon-sized bag, a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, which Demi Moore, who's in the movie, does in fact say that he uses a gallon-sized Ziploc bag.
And he bags the gun. He puts a 1-gallon plastic freezer bag over his hand to his wrist.
You can tear a hole in it and then put the suppressor through that. That would work, but that's not the way it's described in the movies. But let's go ahead and do that anyway because that's what the setup I've got right now is. This setup should work very well. It's got plenty of room for the slide to move back and forth, and we have the suppressor in place. So let's go ahead and try that right now. Very, very good. And now that I have gloves on, I'm not burning my hand. Lesson learned. All 5 rounds, the brass is hanging out in the bag. We're not leaving any evidence behind at all. Fantastic. In order to try to emulate what we see on the screen in the movie, I found 2.5-gallon jumbo size bags here. Yo, that's a big boy. So much room for activities. Let's go ahead and test this sucker out now because there's plenty of room here. The hammer got caught in the plastic. Well, luckily, this is a hammer-fired pistol and not striker-fired, so I can just recock. Yep. And check that out. Of course, it's empty now. Check out the hole that it made through the plastic. That is cool. That is very, very cool. And all the brass was retained, of course, right next to my glove that luckily did not burn me. Thank you, Mechanix gloves. Now that test I just did works out if Mr. Brooks was using a Walther PPK that's chambered in 32 ACP or 22 LR. Those two items are about the same size, same power. I know 32 ACP is very anemic for a centerfire cartridge, but the PPK is also available in 380 Auto. I don't have a 380 Auto that has a threaded barrel on it, but I do have a Hi-Point Yeet cannon with a threaded barrel, which is perfect because both of these are blowback action. There is nothing that holds back this slide except for the spring pressure on the recoil spring and the weight of the slide itself, just like the PPK. There's not a Browning locking action that you see, like say in a 1911 or a Glock or Smith & Wesson It's just pure blowback action, which is what the PPK is also. Technically, the pistol with suppressor, with a 9mm suppressor on it, does in fact fit inside the bag. Also, just to let you know, I did load up some 9mm rounds that were less powerful than normal to better emulate the 380 auto cartridge. All right, we can all agree that this looks very suspicious. Let's see if it works. I have no idea. Let's find out. Let's go ahead and take out that guy's O-face. Ha! It works. But the brass is being held in there with the bag. So it worked. It worked, and of course made its own little exit hole for the suppressor. Ha! The method we see in Mr. Brooks on how to bag a gun, or how he bags a gun, is not what I would do. What I would do would be to force the suppressor through the plastic, so there's plenty of room here for the plastic to move around without hindering any of the operation of the firearm. So the slide can move back and forth, chamber the next round, and rock and roll. The suppressor is sealing up against the bag nicely. It may melt on there if you go through a lot of rounds. If you're doing the things that Mr. Brooks is doing, you shouldn't be going through a ton of rounds. Your suppressor should stay nice and cool for the 2, 3, 4 rounds you're going to be using. So here we go. We got 5 more rounds in the way I would do it. The bag's starting to get a little foggy there, but I just shot 5 rounds, and all 5 brass cases here is retained inside the 2.5 gallon jumbo bag. I cannot believe this works. I thought it was going to be completely gumming up the system. I thought it would. I didn't think about the burn in your hand part. That was something I experienced here and learned on the fly. I thought it would completely lock up the action, get plastic stuck on the rails or something like that. It didn't. It just ran. It just ran. Even the High Point, props to the High Point. It ran in all kinds of weird conditions right here today, because number one, it is very cold, it's rainy, and it's trying to work inside a bag. I stopped the movie several times trying to figure out exactly what caliber the Mr. Brooks PPK was. I could not figure it out. It was just too blurry. Even with the 4K version, I still could not figure it out. But I'm pretty sure it's either a 32 ACP or a 380 ACP. And I think, I mean, obviously somebody doing some bad things like that would be using a 380 ACP. And that's why I think this High Point here is the best analog I've got here. And they do make a 380 ACP threaded barrel pistol. So maybe something I should look into. While cleaning up, I noticed something very interesting about Mr. Brooks' target. And that is the fact that the 9mm bullets coming out of the High Point, many of them were tumbling. Not all of them, but many of them were. There's 2 reasons that could be happening. Number one is that I had to download the powder in those cartridges to better emulate a 380 auto versus 9mm. And that could have slowed it down too much and caused it to tumble that way. Or reason number 2 is that the plastic at the end of the hefty bag was impacting the bullet as it was going out, causing it to tumble after it left the suppressor. That's a possibility. I'm not sure if that's what happened or not, but I did get some tumbling, and that's something to be concerned about when you're doing bad things. I still can't believe this works. This totally works. Well, guys, that's for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I've got a lot more of this on the way. If you have any comments, questions, show ideas, leave that down in the comments down below. I try to answer as many of those as possible, especially if you ask a question in that first couple of hours after the video goes live. I almost always answer those questions and remarks. And as always, you guys have a great day. It's raining here, and I got to get out of here. See ya. Totally works. It totally works. That's insane. That's insane. There's smoke coming out of it. That may melt some plastic.